Get up and get out. Get out. Get out.
I have a question for you.
Say Christ is Lord. Say Lord. Say it. You say Christ is Lord. Get out. Get out. Christ is Lord.
Hello and welcome in to another episode of Offensively Accurate, hosted by yours truly, Atlas Thugged, aka White Boy D Voice, aka another racially ambiguous groiper, and I am here to tell you that Jesus loves you and Christ is King, unfortunately alongside some pretty terrible things. But good to have you guys in studio, good to see everybody in here, Smelly Balls, JR, AB, 40 Wide, 40 Deep, SSBBX 1000, Zach Bartlett, Ronnie Chappas, Mr. Moss, all of you guys, nice to see you in here. We're getting ready to go again for another unofficial Groiper Report. This is the third collab in the season of collabs and collab season 2. But without further ado, let's get this started. Welcome in, Josh VanderNord. How are we doing?
What's up, dude? It's your boy, Chubby Jared Kushner, and I may be a glutton for many things, and punishment is definitely one of them, because a few minutes before we joined the green room, I saw that thumbnail, dude.
Beautiful. Cinema.
That was funny, dude. And the gold chains, bro. It just made everything. And like, I love how you were, it wasn't even like, I look like the Blob from X-Men. You know what I'm talking about?
Right.
Like you were tiny by comparison. That was good, dude. Tom Foe gets the action shots with guns and stuff. Not me, bro. Dude.
Whoa.
Holy shit. I'm okay.
Yeah, okay.
So, quick sidebar. I'm not even kidding you, because you know the lore. Maybe some of the people in the audience don't know the lore, but when I was at my biggest, I was almost 400 pounds.
Yeah.
That actually happened where I broke my buddy's couch, where I went through the seat.
So I was vindicated on the thumbnail the whole time.
Dude, I totally forgot about that until then. I'm not even playing.
That's amazing, dude. We love that. Dude.
Prophetic.
Well, what's funny is, so I got the inspiration of the couch thing specifically because there was a bunch of, so I went to Chicago over the weekend for an old school RuneScape event, and one of the creators there actually, were like the last 2 to 3 years, I think, has like really gained a bunch of weight, and people keep commenting on him saying like, it's crazy you gained all this weight for content, and he's like, bro, I'm just fat, like I didn't gain the weight for content. But people made this unedited photo, and it's like him on the couch with the rest of his team, and the other 4 guys are like sitting on one section of the couch, and he's taking up 2 of them. And he's like, and people are like, "This is a real photo." So I got the inspiration from there, and I just put us 2 on it. But I'm glad you liked it,
bro. It was funny, dude.
Yeah, W's in chat for that. But yes, we're here to talk about the news. Obviously, definitely not the black people, but just the news. We have a good bunch of stuff to get into today. I think majoritively so, the news that's surrounding today, really, if you guys have been paying attention to today's news cycle, has all been about the Supreme Court rulings, which is why I entitled it Big Rulings, Big Rulings, which we'll get into that too. A few other elements as well, some small stuff about the Iran war. We have some conversations about some subterranean warfare as well that stem from that I want to get into too. And we may talk a little bit about Citizen Vigilante, the movie. Josh is the movie wizard here. I am just the sad goy who eats the slop, consumes it, and, without regard for my health, I guess. And a few other things, too. One of the other stories I wanted to get into, I'm not sure if Josh has been aware of, but maybe the most base thing I've seen a pastor do in a long time. Quote, "I laid hands on the sick," he said after he beat the shit out of one of his neighbors who was threatening to rape his children and grandchildren. And I'm not even joking you. This is a real story. I forget where it comes out of, but it's been getting boosted. We'll take a look at that. But without further ado, man, just give a short introduction of who you are for anybody who might not know who you are. I know most of you may be familiar with who Josh is. And also, what have you been doing? Where's your attention been at? What news story, what have you been paying attention to lately?
Yeah. So my name's Joshua VanderNord. I kind of got my start on YouTube with Zeb Boykin and did some content. I went to Charlie Kirk rally almost a year ago, actually, dressed as a Jew and asked him a question about debating Nick Fuentes. That's kind of a little bit of the Josh backstory. But yeah, I've been the original gang, so to speak, is kind of disbanding. You know, Zeb's moving. I'm trying to get this side business off the ground, but all of that is a means to an end, which is to start doing my own content. That was always the purpose, was to free up more time. Who knew it would be a black hole for time and an infinite side quest generator? Right. But such is life, my man. So but I am excited. I do enjoy the rare opportunities to continue to stream, which is mainly just with you on Groiper Report and occasionally offensively accurate.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Mr. Moss. Thank you very much. I keep forgetting to set it away. We're going to do all super chats at the end to save the flow of the conversation. I will replay that, Mr. Moss. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thank you. I just keep forgetting I got the first one on the stream last time. You like the Omni-Man? I'm fully adopting the Omni-Man thing now at this point. Like I'm leaning into it. What better? I mean, Omni-Man is an ethno-nationalist. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he's an ethno-nationalist. He's pure, right? He wants pure bloods, but it's my weakness as well too. He does a little bit of the race mixing, and so because of that, he's become a role model of mine. but no, I thank you for your description there, Josh.
I was gonna say, I was like, wait, he married an Asian. Ooh.
Yeah, and an alien.
The alien was okay, you know.
So the alien was fine. It was the Asian that was a little too far. Listen,
yeah.
Listen, I think Mark turned out pretty white. He's white passing enough for me, I guess I would say.
Well, what does it say that like Omni-Man, you know, he has a baby with this literal bug woman, and the baby looks like a white guy, but then he has a baby with an Asian, and it's a Wasian. Or he is pretty close. I mean, he was like quarter Wasian, but you know.
Well, maybe she's half. Maybe she's half herself. You know, she's only like a quarter or something like that. You know. It
was so crazy in the last season that they gave Invincible a Asian accurate beard. You know, where it was like super choppy. You know.
Yes, I thought that was funny. They probably modeled it after what's his name, Steven Yeun, the voice actor. They probably did model it after him, I would imagine.
Dude, I would have said, just give me a beard, dude. Like, what are you doing?
Right. But enough of the Omni-Man. What news story have you been paying attention to? Like, what has Billy been driving you lately? What has gotten your attention? What do you think deserves talking about?
Okay, well, it's hard to kind of do this and then do Groiper Report on Saturday. But one of the biggest things that stood out to me was Nick. Like I've been watching Nick since 2018. I've seen things he's predicted years prior come to fruition and been like, whoa, that's crazy. But you know, there's like a half-life to these things. Even though I know he predicted it, there's like, time kind of takes away something from it.
Yeah.
His prediction about Ben Shapiro like a month ago was 1-1. And I didn't doubt it at all, but like it was this quick. It was crazy, dude. I was blown away by that, genuinely.
Right. Yeah, the turnaround on this. I mean, for me, it was more so it was about the JD Vance push, like seeing how quickly Tucker Carlson went from I'm done with the GOP to like on Alex Jones, like, oh, you know what? Actually, JD Vance though, like I'm cool with him, and it's like, so you really haven't left the GOP? Like this is meaningless. And again, one of those other predictions from Nick Fuentes, and again, I think the broader prediction from Nick is more so that not only just with Tucker, I think Tucker's almost expected, but it's also going to be Candace Owens and perhaps Ian Carroll, all these other people who are in this kind of Israel critical space, but are maybe considered right wing, at least in a loose sense, will be there pushing for JD Vance when the clock chimes, time for 2028 for the election. And so many just sad things with that too. I don't even know if it's fell for it again with Alex Jones. I do think some of it's just, I think with Alex, it's just a sad story ultimately. I think with Alex, it's audience capture. He's trying to do what he can to stay afloat. I would imagine based with the case of what's going on. But the other stuff, I guess we'll have to see too. I mean, I never thought Marco Rubio was ever going to stand a chance in terms of just the public eye or having any kind of podcast support. Like, if anything, maybe the best supporter of Marco Rubio is going to be somebody like Dan Bongino. And I'm not sure how that plays out for really anybody or anyone for that matter anymore. But no, you didn't see anything about these court rulings then today, or what do you know about them?
If I could real quick before we move on to the court rulings, I wanted to say something about the Tucker Carlson, JD Vance thing. Yeah. I was thinking about this today, actually. It's funny, the comparison, because like, for example, like without getting into specifics, I think it's accurate to describe a consensus within the young conservatives, especially about Thomas Massie. Like, Thomas Massie is a Republican. He is a part of the GOP. But for like, if it were Tucker Carlson saying, I'm against the GOP, but I support Thomas Massie, it's kind of like there is this like separation between, MAGA and Thomas Massie. Thomas Massie is more representative of where the young people are today. Hence the election turnout in his favor. It was all old people against him, all young people for him. Right. But Tucker Carlson is like, oh, I'm not with the GOP anymore, but I am with JD Vance, who is the vice president of the United States. It's like, why though? Right. Why are you with JD Vance? Who are you? Okay, who is the GOP if not JD Vance?
Exactly. No, spot on. I mean, so and again, that kind of shows how nonsensical his statement was of leaving the GOP, was because he's then putting all of his support behind a guy who's a part of the current GOP and will more than likely be representing the same GOP when time comes for 2028. It'll just be another variation of it, the next evolution of it. And if anything, it may just be that it's not MAGA. That's also one thing I'm kind of curious about too, is like, how much of the original MAGA messaging would JD Vance try to hone in on, or will he actually stay away from it? Like, what will he do in terms of because again, that's the base of support from Donald Trump. And you would think, I mean, strategically, you would imagine that JD Vance is going to try to do what he can to pull as many of those people and make that camp his camp. It'll never really be his camp, but he will kind of be the steward of it, for the people who will basically kind of be along for the ride. But you're spot on there too. And you have these articles that came out from, was it yesterday and the day before, of now all of the people who are now cozying up to JD Vance, between all of the different billionaires, whether it be the Adelsons now. You also have Paul Singer in there. You have Sergey Jin. You have people now attending the Rockbridge Network, which we went over yesterday with Greg. Jake Paul is now going to the Rockbridge Network attendee. Kid Rock is now going to the Rockbridge Network. And for those who don't know, again, the Rockbridge Network is a private invite only political forum, I guess is the way they would describe it. A group, if you will, coalition that was co-founded by JD Vance. And so there's obviously some strings being pulled there. Did you catch any of the Jack Neal and Tucker Carlson interview?
Very, very few bits and pieces. So I don't really remember much.
I was the same way. I caught one section that was just crazy because it was them talking about little green aliens. And I think Tucker was, because I think the question that Jack asked was, is there anything like that, would get you like in trouble if you were to say it? And he's like, yeah, like the reality of like these little green aliens. And so I didn't watch the entirety of it, but that was like the gist of the clip there. So I didn't even want to finish it. But there were some other portions as well too, where he was talking about AI and the Antichrist with Tucker, and in the wing and in the light of Peter Thiel. And Tucker seemed very avoidant on giving a full response to this. I think he said, I don't know, or like 3 or 4 times in there. And what he makes reference of too, which I'd already actually like not even really disproven, but said which wouldn't be a good comparison, was Jack Neal brings up how Peter Thiel is hedging his bet against America and already, relocated his family to Argentina. Tucker Carlson brings up New Zealand and then goes, well, he's always kind of been this guy, right? He's always been this person who is hedging his bet. He pays attention to the rise and falls of empires. It's like, yeah, but the New Zealand thing, it was like a paper trail. He went and sought paper citizenship. It's entirely different than like purchasing a home and relocating not only just your children but your husband. Like that's a lot more of a permanent kind of move. It's a lot more of it looks like to me like there's a lot more than just a gamble with that. Like maybe perhaps that seems to be what his primary option is. But again, it just shows that there's clearly some, like Tucker and Peter Thiel are attached now. And I think inside of that, you also need to attach JD Vance into that too. How many others are going to fall for this? I don't know, but that's going to be what we're up against. And it's going to be coming with the power of Tucker Carlson, who's doing all this containment operation on Nick Fuentes, which is basically being, if Nick Fuentes is the 100%, Tucker Carlson lately has been like the 99, where Tucker is getting 99% of the message and then scalping like that last 1 to 2% that he maybe considers as too edgy. We would consider to be the actual full truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. But he is doing it to avoid the kind of the hate accusations, or to be able to be politically expedient in social media, be able to post on YouTube, and he's avoiding the overall conversation on the Jews and the Jewish fifth column. He did get closer to it though with his conversation from JD Hall. Did you catch any of that one?
No.
That one I sent to a couple friends. I think that to me was like, as much as I really kind of feel like I maybe don't fully understand Tucker, but I do see some of the strategy he's employing. That podcast should be shared by everyone, to anyone who considers themselves Christian who isn't awake on the JQ. It's a massive, like, incremental kind of step into that conversation. JD Hall did a great job, and I do believe JD Hall is the co-author of Hyphenated Heresy, which is the book written by Joel Webbin, and it was published, I believe, just a couple months ago. That talked about the JQ from the Christian perspective. I thought it was really good. So that's what makes the Tucker thing so hard, is because he is like, I think what you could say is he is clearly a net positive in the category of Overton Window and the category of culture war. And that to me stands out as like a strong element of his that I'm not really sure what, you could do much about. But again, he's obviously pushing and chilling for JD Vance, and JD Vance becoming the face of the Iran deal now too. Both the negotiator for it. You have Trump joking all the time, like, if it goes well, I'll take the credit. If it goes badly, I'm going to blame JD Vance. And so I think what you have there is, again, JD is trying to make I don't even consider it a high risk. I think JD's really doing the only thing he can do in order to maintain the kind of foothold as the front runner for 2028.
Mm-hmm. Maybe you recall, but we talked about this actually last time I did Offensively Accurate with you a few weeks ago, where I was kind of getting at the point that I think 2028 is lost. And in fact, 2032 might be the strat. Not that obviously we wouldn't want not JD Vance, but Nick has talked about getting a spoiler candidate in 28, right. Which is ideal, but I don't think at this point is possible. And I think the reason I bring this up is to say is like Tucker's credibility is waning, I think, with the young people, which is why he is echoing Nick's points. You know what I mean? Right. He was on board with Trump 2024. And he was at the rallies. He was at the GOP conventions. He was everywhere. And Nick was the one who put his career on the line going out against Donald Trump. And I think the more that time goes on, the more his credibility will wane, which actually is a good thing, because I think he's in place to kind of ease like he's the peanut butter helping the pill go down the more people's throats. You know right. what I mean?
Yeah.
But my fear for a while was when push comes to shove, he is not our friend. He might be beneficial for us right now, but he is an enemy.
Yeah.
And fortunately, I think the way things are going, I think by 2032, that position will be solidified. He'll still be relevant, but I think by 2032, assuming Nick is still alive, he will have in many ways surpassed Tucker Carlson.
Yeah. Well, I just think about how Nick kind of just called the game plan here. What you had was Tucker Carlson was one of the first outside of Nick to start being extremely critical of Israel. This kind of opened it up, and Tucker Carlson was obviously taking a lot of flack for that, being called, what was it, Tucker Carlson, right? Some of the early accolades being thrown towards him. Then what you end up having is then you have the Joe Kent element. Then you have Joe Kent writing this kind of rather, I wouldn't know if you call it scathing, but you have him writing this like pretty impactful letter that had like, dude, it got major millions of impressions on X. And he's resigning publicly, and he's resigning using that moment to throw Israel under the bus and talk about these engagements, and also, talking about like his wife and his previous, and like why he's so dispositioned against all the military conflict in Iran. This kind of opens and softens the blow for what JD Vance did, what was it, like a few days ago, if not last week, which then JD Vance started becoming a bit more critical of Israel, so much so that it encouraged the response of Randy Fine. Randy Fine said these comments from JD Vance are, vile and disgusting rhetoric. He needs to apologize for what he said. And well, what is he saying? Well, it's similar to what Trump was saying then, which has probably already changed to what it is today, which is talking about needing to restrain Israel, talking about in the same vein of like that week where you have the Axios call, or it was reported by Axios, where Trump says, this is why everybody hates you, F Israel. Then it moves to these other conversations, these other elements where you see JD becoming a bit more outspoken, a bit more willing to talk about Israel. And you have that, and it becomes softer and easier because not only do you have everyone else who's kind of aligned with him pushing for it, the people who are supporting him pushing for it, then being Israel critical. And then afterwards, JD Vance waits until it's like the news cycle is like Israel's threatening to send the U.S. under on the deal. Then JD takes his opportunity to levy that across. And so it's kind of like he did it in the most, and the way that he would probably take the least amount of pushback for those comments. Right. And so you can tell that there is this extreme precaution to the way that they are engaging with this problem that doesn't paint them out to be, anti-Semitic. And it does keep them a category and a field away from where Nick is at, where Nick is a lot more hands-on the issue, a lot more direct, a lot more abrasive about it. Whereas these guys are doing it as strategically and precise as they possibly can, I would imagine, in order to be and maintain as much goodwill in the political system as they possibly can, which plays into their playbook as well with Rockbridge Network.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think this is something I've talked about before with Zeb, where essentially it's like they are going to pin all of this apathy and resentment towards Israel on Netanyahu. Yep. And say, well, you can't, what are you going to judge a whole nation based on what their leader did? That's ridiculous. What about when Biden was president? Like would the Ukrainians or the Russians blame you? That's exact, dude. I wouldn't be surprised if that's exactly what they're going to say. And then it's going to be this other guy running against him who's worse. Right.
Which, dude, Rubio's a massive joke. And it's funny because you see him in some of these photos, you see some of these clips here lately. He looks, somebody said he looks mum, I think is the word they described him as. But he's just kind of like he seems angry. But again, at the same time, that was his only real play, was to attach himself to Trump. He has no base of his own. He has no really public backing. And most of the public is already soured on him from the fact that prior to him being picked up from the Trump administration, he was looked at as a neocon, as a war hawk. He already had all these bad item tags, or these category tags, that Trump now has as well. So it's like he's right back to square one. And it's like, I don't know if the MAGA boost or the MAGA camp, even at this point right now, is enough to get anybody the presidency. And so I think that is what they're looking at here, which is if you're going to win an election in 2028, you're going to have to start appealing to bases outside of the MAGA group, right? And you have to do that with a fine line, because you start getting too Israel critical, you start losing the MAGA base. And now I can't imagine any of those people would go to Democrat. And I think that's part of a good play there, which is maybe what you end up is that some of the MAGA people don't vote Democrat. They just don't vote at all, because they're like, well, I'm not voting for a Democrat, but I can't vote for this anti-Semite JD Vance. And who knows if there's that many people in the MAGA base? I don't know. It's been a long time since I've been associated with the MAGA crowd, if you will. But they have to do this kind of very song and dance, tap and push of the factions. And there's multiple factions now. There's numerous factions that have blown up. And partly because, too, with the Democrats, they're like, they haven't had a strong leader, a strong face, a strong head for Lord knows how long. And they're even broken up between people who are like, between like Hassan and you have Destiny. There's all these smaller kind of groups in there. The same way that you're seeing it being kind of balkanized on the right wing too. So now they're going to have to kind of really decide which of these factions is worth going after, which of these factions will actually show up to vote, and which of these factions have influence on social media. I think those are all kind of three categories we have to look at when they're approaching 2028, which I think is why you're going to see JD probably get a bit more active, a bit more outspoken, and maybe a bit more confrontational with Donald Trump. And I think you have to wait until after the midterms, after the right wing's in a losing position, then JD Vance can start coming out and start saying whatever, because then he'll look like he is in the right there. Because if we lose the midterms, there's massive losses there. But then clearly MAGA wasn't getting the job done. And then JD Vance will look at it like a hero, because here's JD Vance going, well, we could have won the midterms if we did this. We could have won the midterms, and people will forget or omit all of the fact that he was right there alongside them the entire way. People are simple creatures, if you will.
No, absolutely. And it's one of those things where, dude, it's like, it's impossible to know anything about the outcome with absolute certainty, but you know what they're going for, dude. And it's like, speaking of what, now it's kind of in my mind again, but the Charlie Kirk event where I went dressed as a Jew with Zeb, I remember, like, this did not come across in the video that everyone saw, but during his speech, like before the Q&A, keep in mind, this was August 2025. He was like, I want to defend the right to own guns. I want to get men out of women's sports, and I am going to vote for JD Vance in 2028.
Yeah.
It was like, where the hell did that come from, dude? And
right.
This is what I mentioned earlier about, 2028 is lost. 2032 might be our year. A big part of the reason I think 2028 is just unsalvageable for any candidate is because all of this crap that Trump and MAGA is subjecting us to right now, even if the dots are so far apart, as soon as we lose in the midterms, they are going to blame everything on that. They're going to say, well, I just can't do anything. My hands are tied. Yep. And 2 years is a long time for goldfish, and people are going to forget, dude. They're how we feel right now, it will fade. Maybe not for you and me, but for most people it will. And then, see, they're not going to even be thinking. Most people, I guarantee, won't even be thinking about Donald Trump's failures at that point, because by then you'll have a Democrat nominee and they're going to be shoving all the bad stuff they've said and they're probably going to do in our faces. And everyone's just right back on the bandwagon. And on top of that, it's like my boss at the radio show, he's asking me, he's like, hypotheticals, like, okay, let's say we're down to the wire, Rubio or Vance, who are you voting for? And I'm like, I'm not voting. He's like, just play along, dude. And I'm like, I can't bring myself to vote for either of them.
Right.
And being on the radio show and like, for example, actually meeting political candidates, I won't say which ones, but like I've met political candidates. I've talked with Donald Trump on the phone. I've talked with Vivek Ramaswamy on the phone. I've met many candidates for primaries down here in South Carolina.
Yep.
A lot of these candidates are so mediocre, like in the sense that
right.
I don't feel like I'm talking to a politician or a leader. I feel like this is just a guy. And talking on the phone with Donald Trump was one of the most nerve-wracking experiences of my life. Like,
I can imagine.
And this was before he was president again. And he just had like this bombacity through the phone. He's a character. JD Vance and Marco Rubio are boobs. Like, they're like deacons at someone's church. They cannot be the president of the United States physically.
I agree. And I think that's kind of like what we're trying to avoid, obviously, with all the strategies here, is letting it not be another lesser of two evil kind of result. But ultimately, it seems that it's like that's where all the gravity is. It seems to be that's where we always get pulled to, is in those situations. But I do want to move over to the Supreme Court rulings, and I'll kind of give a short kind of gist on some of these here. For those who might have missed the daily news cycle, there were 4 major rulings that were handed down today. And well, 4 rulings, I guess, that were decided upon, but majority of them, I think 3 of them were 6-3 rulings. One of them was 7-2, which the 7-2 one was kind of wild, actually. But there was 4 rulings. One was about the Second Amendment. It was an expansion to the Second Amendment powers, specifically looking at some of the stuff that was going on in Hawaii in terms of their kind of consent by property owner. The simplest way to explain that would be private property, but that was also public-facing storefronts like parking lots, stores, restaurants in Hawaii was allowed to ask people who carried for express authorization, meaning that you couldn't carry unless you had received this express authorization from these private property owners. You ended up getting that was ruled against, and so the expectation is that will consequent into other smaller, similar state laws also being overridden. Looking at this court ruling as the precedent of that. The second one was Monsanto versus Darnell. That was the 7-2 ruling. The Monsanto versus Darnell one was very shocking, and this is what's causing a lot of discourse among the MAHA crowd, or the Make America Healthy Again crowd, and that is that the federal government actually sided with Monsanto on this ruling. However, it's to be very specific here, essentially that the Supreme Court ruled that federal pesticide law actually overrides state lawsuits. So there's this kind of weird nature that they're saying that as long as Monsanto's labels and warnings and claims were up to date and were good with federal law, the state law actually is like on a lesser scale than that. So I think and you can fact check me on this, but as far as I understand, this ruling basically will dismiss all of these kind of different claims and lawsuits against Monsanto for their liability with Roundup that causes cancer. The other 2 were about the border. One was a Mullen versus Doe. The other was Mullen versus Al Otro Lado. One actually revoked and removed the temporary protection status of hundreds of thousands of Haitians and Syrians and a few other groups, which is actually good. The idea here being is this should preempt and should move to, we should be seeing a lot of these people deported then if we get this ruling. If they remove and they lose their status, will we see that? That's kind of the question. The fourth one is more so about border policy, the Mullen versus Al Otro Lado. And both of these are being seen as pretty big wins for the Trump administration. I think the question is, would they be acted upon? And but basically, it reduces the number of asylum claims. It now means that if you're at the border, you don't have an asylum claim. You actually have to you have to come across the border for an asylum claim. So what this does is it turns into a lot more of turning around. They can turn a lot more people away at the border, means less overall daily kind of processes of people at the border. So both of these are being seen and looked at as wins. There are other court rulings that are coming down the line. We won't see the other 4 until Monday, June 29th. We should see, I think, 3 or 4 more rulings from there. So all 4 of these, well, 3 of them are seen as major wins. The one is being contested, obviously, by many people among MAHA with the Monsanto. But with all that being said, I guess any of those that you want to particularly take a look at?
Yeah. The gun right one, we talked about that a little bit in the green room. That one's interesting. Yeah. And if you don't mind, I'll reiterate a point that you made, which was, I think actually having the ability to carry guns more, I don't know, frivolously, but more openly is a good thing, because the truth is it's going to be the wild, wild west. I mean, what's going to happen if the power goes out? It's going to be the purge, and you're going to wish it had. You know what I mean? So this is ultimately, I would say, a good thing. Now, again, it doesn't matter. Like, so if you're in a store, or you're a store owner and a 17-year-old black kid comes in and tries to rob you and you shoot him, okay, now they can't get you on that. They'll find a way to get you. That's what concerns me about it.
Right. Well, like I'd said, though, like I said for the gun control thing, I had wholeheartedly, what's up, Greg? Nice seeing here. Or Mr. Cody USA, nice to see you, brother. I agree with your point, which was like, here's probably the best way to say it. In terms of gun control overall, all these smaller like wins here and there are like on maybe the more legal side of things when it comes to like when you're up to court and you have to do some kind of self-defense case, like did you have your P's and Q's? But in reality, you would get so much more. Like if the goal with all these Second Amendment rights was to expand and increase the safety and security in this country, well then you would get rid of guns from black people. That would have the most positive effect towards that end. But you were spot on when you had said like the gun control thing is kind of it doesn't really get to the heart of some of the issues that we're actually dealing with, because that brings into the meme when you have like Thomas Massey, who's like running. There's that meme, have you seen this, of Thomas Massey running to give guns to black people? And it's kind of this meme that's used against libertarians, which is like you're avoiding the issue. It's like, yeah, you're good on law, but it actually doesn't talk about the actual racial realities too, in terms of what actually is kind of underlining a lot of the problems people do have with like, you know, with gun culture, if you will. And that was maybe my broader point. Overall, though, with gun control, I would like to see just it expand in general. And I kind of, to me, it's like, I think you would have a lot more of a safer society. You'd have a less threat from criminals if the thought process was that there's 10 people in the room with a gun instead of 1 out of 10 people having a gun in a room. Yeah. Because I think you have a lot more risk to assume if that's your approach. If you are a criminal, because then it's like, well, anybody can shoot me, versus having to look for that one white guy who's on his ship. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah, and that's a good point, because I was actually watching a clip from Anthony Cumia today, and he was talking about the, with all the Europeans coming from for is it FIFA? What am I? The World Cup.
Yeah. Yeah.
What's it called? I don't know.
The World Cup. Yeah.
The World Cup.
You had it. Yeah.
The gay sport,
the lesser sport.
Europeans, the lesser sport. They're all like they're loving America, and it's like you're seeing in these videos. These are like in big cities, and you're not seeing a lot of like teen takeovers going on. And it brings up a point. It's like, have you ever seen one of these videos where it's like the typical black get up in your face type shit, but they do it to just the wrong guy, even a dude who's shorter than them. Yeah. And then he gets a good hook in and picks him up, and they start screaming like a child. You know what I mean? It's like they're really only comfortable doing these things when they know they have the advantage by far. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's when it's 5 versus 1.
Right.
So I completely agree. It's like if there's this sort of ambiguity, okay, this guy's got like his right side sticking out a little bit further than his left, I ain't gonna chimp out.
Right. Exactly. Or you see like you see the jeans and like the polo, or like, yeah, exactly. That's kind of like where I've always been at with too. It's like the Second Amendment thing has always just been a big joke. Like so many of these laws are clearly violations of the Second Amendment. But it goes to maybe more broader sense, which is the fact that the Constitution almost means nothing at all. Really, it's just like we're all at the mercy of so many of these stupid, court rulings, different judges as well. And I agree with what you said too. It was not too long ago. It was on the show. It was OTL actually. I think with you and Zeb yesterday, which is like some of these judges just need to be dealt with, and I think and not even in that sense either, but it's. You can just deal with these judges by like the executive not enforcing the bullshit laws. It's like that's part of like the checks and balances, is the fact that the executive that's an ability that you do have. I mean, it's not, many people would look at it as maybe not being moral, or maybe not being the best thing to do, or not being as legalistic as you should be. But still, it's like the option is like, who gives a shit what the judge said? I don't care what lower district, who said what. Judge who? Doesn't matter, not doing it. That would be the best approach to a lot of this stuff overall, no matter what some of these court rulings say. And that's the only benefit of the TPS thing too, one of these other rulings, is because it has that's part of the reason why it even was brought to the Supreme Court, was because all these judges were bitching about how limited and how, acute their angles were to even get a chance to review some of these court cases, some of these rulings, are being unable to.
Dude. And it's like, you remember, it was like 1 or 2 years ago, there was this viral video going around where it was a white judge who sentenced this black guy. I don't even know what it was for or for how long, but then he jumped at her. You remember this? You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, yeah. There's a screenshot of like him in midair, hovering above the teleprompter lady or whatever.
dude, if it's like, because we know how unfair the power differential in these judges. Something has to be done. If I get arrested for jaywalking and like the guy behind me hasn't paid alimony to his baby mama, you know what I mean? Like, I'm jumping on the judge.
Yeah.
If a female judge starts like, now young man, like lecturing me.
Yeah. You're jumping too?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I have to lose the weight. I have to be able to get off the ground.
Yeah. Dude.
The good news is if I can get on top, okay, hold on. If
Pause.
she's done for, you know?
Yeah, pause. I mean, what a statement. Female judge. Like, what?
Statement.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with David Lopan there. Like, it's just like this country will not heal until females aren't allowed to be judges. I mean, like, you're talking about something that God said as a punishment, you know, or as like a judgment against a civilization. It's having like these female judges. Like, it's just, if I ever got a female judge, I wouldn't accept the ruling. I think I would just appeal on that basis alone. I'd be like, I'll take any ruling from a judge who's not a woman, you know, but they would not let you appeal on that basis.
Unironically, sure. Like if we're real talking here, like you're about to be sentenced for something and you're getting a woman judge, yeah. I think your best play to get out of it is to flirt with them. It's like genuinely
make them feel good about themselves.
Here, if we're trying to, you know, and especially if it's a black judge, it depends on who you are. Like, I don't know if you could probably get away with it better than I could if you were like, hey, brown sugar, you know?
I couldn't do it. I couldn't, especially if I got a black female judge, dude. Like, I think I would just sit there in silence. I think I would just turn off. Give me life. Just get me out of here, dude. They must drug these people. You have like serial killers and like gangbangers, and then in court they're dude, if a judge was like, you jaywalked 30 to life, I'd be like, what the fuck? Yeah.
Like in the middle, you know what I mean? And they're just like,
well, I mean, well, that's it too. Like, what if I made some case that I'm like Albanian or something? That'd be my best bet. I'd be like, no, like I come from like a long lost line of like Albanians, actually. You know, feel bad for me. I didn't, you know, I have a long history of fatherless problems or something to that effect, you know, just like come up with some kind of bullshit on that. Yeah.
Your Honor, he put hands on me and I told him not to.
Yeah. I don't know how that flies. What works with women? Maybe you're right. Maybe I just have to look smacks. Maybe that's just the only key. You just have to be as physically attractive as humanly possible to get the best ruling from a female judge. And then I do all that and I end up with some old man Jew. It's like, fuck. Oh. It's like, you know, it's over.
Oh, dude, if I'm getting an old man Jew, there's not going to be a sentence. Like as soon as my feet hit the courtroom carpet, I am like going
sprinting
for the bald head. You know?
Yeah, right. Like, you know what? Maybe I can do something about this world. You know, you just run towards it. Disavow that in Minecraft, maybe.
Hey, respect the law. You know, they got there because they're competent. All right.
Yeah. I don't know, but it comes to question now. I mean, the further we get away from these things, it does remind me of a lot of like the stories from the Bible, you know, as cliche as some of that is. I mean, ultimately, like, I think we're getting closer to that reality, which is you're faced with what the legality is of the country you live in, and then you're faced with what is considered what is righteous and what is good and what is justice in the words of God, the eyes of God. And I think we're getting closer to those bounds being not anywhere close to being on the same playing field. But with that being said, moving on to another topic, did you see any of the New York City protests at all?
New York City? No, I have not. Is this? I don't even know what this is in league of. The last thing I heard was, you know, the Knicks and how they trashed the city over the Knicks. Is that what this is in reference to? No,
so they did trash the city, that's for one. But I think that actually kind of gave energy to what happened after this. So the story goes, so Dan Goldman, he's like a Jewish Democrat congressman. I don't know if he's a representative or if he's in state or whatever. Who cares? But apparently this like coffee shop, he went in with his daughter, I think. It's called the Petonia, I think is what it's called. Petonia Coffee Shop. Poetica Coffee, forgive me. So he goes into this Poetica Coffee. The guy goes in with his daughter. Apparently he has a pleasant experience then. It's a positive experience. But the staff, I guess, later found out who he was, made an Instagram post like shaming him, and then was like, "You're banned. You can never come back. You know, you can't have coffee again. You know, yada yada." And it blows up into this big thing. Apparently, it was like NJU Hatred and the Lawfare Project got involved, and they sent a bunch of their influencers and protesters to like have a rally. And the crazy part about it was there's a counter rally that happens, and you know who the counter rally is? It's a bunch of Orthodox Jews who are anti-Zionist. So you have all of these pro-Israel I guess influencers and like paid agitators, all with all the most like, we love Israel, we stand with Israel. And then you have literal ultra-Orthodox Jews from I can't remember what sect they came from. It's like the Natura something in New York who are counter-protesting it. So you have Orthodox Jews who are agreeing with the coffee shop, saying, yes, don't sell to this Israel-loving idiot. And then you have all of these weird brown people who are against the coffee shop and saying, no, we need to be for Israel. You know, we and it's just the insanity of it. I just thought it was hilarious. Let me see if I have any of these links still available. I'll put them up on screen. But yeah, I wasn't sure if you had seen any of this. I think I have this one right here.
No, I had not. That is funny though. Dan Goldman.
Yeah, so this is some footage from the protests here. We can play a little bit of it actually, put it on screen. I forget we can react together to stuff.
This is America. You can't do that. It's ridiculous what's going on over here. That's how it started in Nazi Germany.
Coffee shop should learn a lesson. I think they should apologize to the Jewish community, and I think they should have a day of welcoming every Jew in here and serve them coffee for free.
Do you still sell coffee to Zionists, to Jewish, to pro-Israel?
Everyone.
You do, really? Oh, look at them. So they learned the lesson because they refused to sell it to Dan Goldman. Yesterday?
Wow.
Before.
Yeah, you see the audacity of this one. This one like pissed me off, dude. When I saw this part of the video.
Sunday.
Yeah.
There's a Department of Justice investigation against this store because they refused to do that.
So,
dude, what a prime example of like, just double down, dude. This fucking guy is gonna show me. He's like, yeah, we serve to everybody, and he's like, oh, so you learned your lesson. That's good. So continue with the video. We're just gonna hold up the line here.
Right. Well, it was crazy to me because the way I read, so I don't remember which story I ended up reading, what article I ended up reading, but it almost made it seem like it might not have been the actual owner of the store felt that way. It might have actually just been a staff, which is why like they quickly like pulled back on it. It doesn't show any of it. I wish I would have had another clip, or maybe you can see him in any of these clips here. But yeah, there was let me find this actually. We need to pull this up. Because there was these Orthodox anti-Zionist Jews. Hopefully I can find a video of them. And there we go. There's some of them here in this video. This is from 16 hours ago. Yeah. Anti-Zionist Jews rallied outside at Poetica Coffee in Brooklyn yesterday. So this is like the scene in New York. And that's what I was saying about the New York Knicks thing too. Like I think some of that energy just like kept playing into this. Like they kept kind of building this kind of like up and down. This just like, I mean, people out and about in the city, if you will.
Free Palestine! Free Palestine! Free Gaza!
So that's being led by Orthodox Jews.
Oh, come on.
So you have these.
Oh man.
Yeah. So these Orthodox Jews who are like free Palestine. Probably giving some talks and some statements there too. I just found the whole thing to be funny. because it's like they're taking opposite sides there. And I can only imagine it's like it would seem to be that's like in that first video we watched, it looked to be like just regular people, like some Latino, but maybe some Jews mixed in there too. And it looked like it was American Jews versus Orthodox Jews was like what the rally was about, all because he said, I'm not selling it, or the store said, we're not selling it to, they said, genocide enablers. They didn't say we're not selling it to Jews, but they said, we do not serve genocide enablers.
Which sounds specific to Dan Goldman. I mean, I don't know who Dan Goldman is, but like, if someone recognized him after the fact, he's probably someone. If we're not just saying a Jewish man, he's probably someone. But it's kind of funny, dude. It's like, so Florence is on I-95, which is a major highway, and there's a lot of billboards going through town. 2 billboards I've seen recently are both. An attack on one of us is an attack on all of us.
Yeah.
Like, stop Jewish hate. And it's so funny seeing that all of a sudden, but it's like, so we got a friendly fire situation here, or are they all being attacked? Is this like a voodoo doll type effect, quantum entanglement, where what happens when self-harm is inflicted? I didn't even know. It's kind of funny. It does kind of suck, though, that it's like the Orthodox ones that are anti-Zionist without being anti-Semitic, while the comedians, the kind of as normal looking as they can get ones, are like the true overlords, the true Zionists.
Yeah, which I think exposes like just kind of like what some of these boundaries are inside of this problem here, like all the different categories of like, and how complex it goes too. And again, that's why I want to push for people too, like who haven't listened to that one JD Hall episode. Something I'm probably going to listen to for a second time as well, just to like really ingrain it like into my head, some of the stuff that he'd said there. And he talked about 2 things, like, and again, not to repeat myself from like Monday when I talked to, was it Tom Fowler, Tuesday, forgive me, but the concept that like they literally have an AI system called Daddy's Home that's built. So did you catch any of this at all from the episode was it with Tom? I think that's when I talked about it.
Was it with Tom?
It might have been. Maybe I
caught the whole thing. Maybe I missed that part.
Maybe I'm just retarded. I'm just getting old, dude, forgetting a lot of things. Also, make sure you smash the like button as well. It definitely helps the channel and the show out quite a bit. But what I would say with that, though, is, so they have two AI systems. The one I won't get into. The one is called the Gospel. I won't get into that one. I'll get into the first one, though. The one's called Daddy's Home. But again, all of this can really only be understood by their rejection of Christianity, by the rejection of Jesus Christ, why they do these things. But to hone in on Daddy's Home, the Daddy's Home one was specific to the fact that they have these triggers set up to fire on bomb these people when they come home. So that's why it's called Daddy's Home. So they'll wait until the terrorist gets home to his wife and kids and his family, and then once it's ensured that he's home, it sets this off, and then they bomb the place, which is why they have a consistent kind of happening of this. That's why the civilian deaths are always outpacing the terrorist deaths, is because that's the typical way they induce their warfare, is that they don't care about how many civilians get killed. And so if that's one of the systems that's roped in, one of the mechanics, well, if every terrorist has one wife and one child, that's already going to be a 2-for-1 every single time a Daddy's Home is initiated. And so there's a lot of good bits inside that article, or inside that podcast. That's really good. The Gospel is another one. The Gospel, you'd have to go listen to the podcast. I'd have to listen to it again to remember exactly what it was. But again,
now,
these people are sick.
The Gospel is a name of a program similar to Daddy's Home?
Correct.
Okay. I would, if you don't remember, my guess would be that maybe if they go to a church or something, like a mosque. I mean, I know they're Muslim, so like a mosque. I don't know.
So from what I remember JD saying on the podcast was, because Tucker asked him, why do they name it the Gospel? JD's response was, and I'm paraphrasing here, but JD's response was, well, because their view of the gospel is like they hate it. Right. Mm-hmm. So they're giving the good news by killing these people. Like, that's the good news. It's like they killed them. And I forget what the delivery mechanism of it was. Because it's been a minute since I watched that, but it was really good. That's not good. But the episode, the podcast was really good because he talked about
I'll have to
quite a
check
bit.
that out. It sounds interesting.
Yeah, it was really good. And again, I'm positive that the guy, J.D. Hall, is Jordan Hall, who is the co-author of Hyphenated Heresy, with written by Joel Webbin as well. Definitely a good read, too. And I have that. My dad actually got that for me. But no, moving away from these protests in New York City, the latest of the Iran war, which we were talking about a little bit, that's kind of going to be the featured story of today. I'm kind of unsure when we're going to get more news on this, but I'm not sure what you guys have seen about this. Let me go ahead and click this so I can pull it up, bring it up on screen for you guys to see. And this is what's being reported right now from Dominic Michael Trippi. He says, Thomas Massey says a large portion of the $300 billion reconstruction and investment package for Iran will come from American taxpayers, despite claims from Trump that no U.S. money will be used. And this is kind of one thing that I've been looking at and paying attention to, because, again, all of the rhetoric from the United States, well, it's lies. The majority of it's just a bunch of bullshit lies. But what they have been saying and what they've been kind of hinting at, subtly, in some cases not so much, they've been hinting at this idea that it would be primarily, if not by wholly just the Gulf countries, would be the ones who would be funding this reconstruction and investment package for Iran. Now it's looking like, and if you're going to ask me who do I trust more, Thomas Massey or Donald Trump, that's not even a question. Dominic Michael Trippi I find to be pretty prominent, but again, this is coming from Thomas Massey. I haven't seen much beyond this, not confirmed it in any way, or this does seem to be this 100 billion, 150 billion. How much of this will be a commitment from America? I would imagine there would be, you split it down the line, it would be half from America, half from the Gulf countries, maybe 20 billion from Saudi. But that is a huge amount of money. And again, another major hit to the U.S. taxpayers. And again, a hit to U.S. taxpayers who didn't want the war in the first place and are getting no benefit from it. And let's be honest here, the benefit we're getting from it is negative. We're actually losing things. We're actually getting worse from this. America's losing overall, not only just the war, but it is putting us in a worse position because of what was done during this conflict. And just another thing to kind of shake your head at and be angry about, but again, not good news. And I think maybe this is probably the take I would give to this. This, to me, is if this is true, this is the death of MAGA. This is the death of Donald Trump, the death of what that entity was, that big tent conservatism. Because this, icing on the cake, not only did you get into a war from the No New Wars president, you lost the war, and in losing the war, hundreds of billions of dollars of your U.S. taxpayer dollars are now going to this while you sit there holding the bag with no mass deportations, no deep state arrests, no Fauci being put in front of a crowd of millions while he gets hung to the public. None of that. You're getting absolutely nothing. Golden age. And at the end of that golden age, U.S. taxpayers are looking to foot the bill to the tune of, I would imagine, at least $100 billion, if not more.
Hell yeah, dude. Let's go. Dude. And it's so funny because these things just fade out of people's minds. Wasn't there a story recently and somewhat recently where Donald Trump sued either the FBI or the federal government for how they treated him under Biden? And a Democrat actually brought up where will the money that he won come from?
Yeah, he sued the Treasury, I believe.
That's right. That's what it was. And so it's that's Donald Trump taking money from you and me. And
agreed.
And here's the thing. If American money is going to pay off Iran, it sucks and it's stupid, but Donald Trump got us into this, Donald Trump has to get it out. Everything Howard Lutnick got through insider trading, let's start from there. All of the money Donald Trump is making from insider trading, let's start there. Seize Trump Tower as collateral. I'm fine with that at this point. If it's going to come from Americans, why doesn't it come from the civilian leader who started this war, the No New Wars president?
Yeah. What a cherry on top of everything. It's it somehow got worse. It's not only did, losing the war is bad enough, but it was, and again, and who even knows? So much of this is just gaslighting and obstruction. And again, this is really only if, I would imagine, if the deal stays in place. And will the deal stay in place? I don't know. I saw another report. I don't know if it was from Miriam Navarum or otherwhere, but the report basically said, and it's going with the prediction of what Nick said. You know, one of Nick's predictions was that in the Iran war, in the sphere of the Iran war, one thing that they're going to be looking at inside of this is going to be the fact that it's probably going to still be more likely that Donald Trump is going to be listening and going to be more pro to the plight of Israel than Iran. And he said that in the framing of, well, what they're going to be looking at is they're going to all of a sudden, because Iran is holding Lebanon in such high regard to the overall deal that affects the Gulf, that America and Trump's going to start looking at it like this theater of war doesn't have anything to do with what we're doing over here. Like there's no relation here. So Nick was kind of building the case that Trump may begin to get angry, or they're going to have voices and ears, people whispering in his ear that are going to get angry and framing it that way. And the report that I saw again earlier today basically said just that Netanyahu has convinced Trump that Israel should remain in Lebanon. I believe that was the report that I saw earlier today. So if that's the case, and that's the first point of the 12-point memorandum they signed, I mean, does this even stay in place? Who knows? Do we go back to war? What's even going on? And it's kind of crazy because it does feel like, from some of the rhetoric we're seeing, our back's against the wall in terms of the Strategic Petroleum Reserve. But not only just that, we can't even make bombs and interceptors fast enough to maintain this war for, I would imagine, much longer than where we are right now, without reaching into pockets and maybe buying weapons from other systems as well. So I'm kind of curious what direction that takes on. So again, on the same kind of footing, and I think Nick is right about this too, it's just like the news is not changing. It's like we're stuck in this constantly, this merry-go-round of the Iran war just being the same news every single day, the same thing happening every single day. And then we're sitting here getting lied to by the U.S. government day in and day out. So it is kind of questionable if we should even be mad about this, because who knows, there may not even be a $300 billion package, because we may just go back to bombing the shit out of each other. So there is that too.
Yeah, and it's like, at this point, which one would you even want? Because let's be honest, even if we had, like, dude, we're just so screwed. I mean, even if every cent that was going to paying off Iran to be a part of this MOU was coming from the U.S. taxpayer, Israel would just bring, like, in even less than a year, a couple years, we'd be right back in there, dude. They're not going to let up. That's why, like, it sucks, and things are going to get bad. Like, I'm telling my sisters, I'm like, you should have a game plan to, like, get out of the city if something happens. You know what I mean? Yeah. Because, like, things are going to get bad here if gas prices continue the way that they are, you know, or get worse. And my point being is, it's like, I kind of hope that it does get that bad, so the taste of going to war with Iran is so bitter to every single American that literally, if, like, Iran invades Israel, the average American will be like, fuck them, dude, they can have it, I don't give a shit. Yeah, that's what I'm hoping.
I do wish the same. But here's the thing. I think for many people, they already had a bitter taste in their mouths from what was going on in the Middle East. And I think Owen kind of really nailed it in one of those, whatever that was, the Brandon Straka. Did you remember what I'm talking about? The, what was it? It was like millennials versus boomers. And then there was like MAGA versus America First. But Owen nailed it. It's like, I don't even, here's the reality. I don't care anymore. American interest or nothing at all. And it's getting to the point where it's like, I got to start drawing the line somewhere. Like, at a certain point, it's like, you're just a hostile enemy. All you've done is help every other little nation besides us. At what point do we call it treason? Now, I'm already willing to say, like, dude, Tom Cotton, somebody got to get the rope. That guy needs to be served a suit for treason. Like, that guy is a literal agent for Israel. How the fuck no one has even court-martialed him or tried to go after him is insane to me. Like, and no one's even talking about it. I feel like I'm the only person that's talking about it. You had the DIA gave a ruling, or not a ruling, they raised the counterintelligence threat of Israel to critical, the highest designation it could get. putting a report together that went all the way back to 2021, talking about how Mossad is putting listening devices in Secret Service vehicles, talking about how they're crossing the red line. They're trying to get into conversations between Rubio and Trump while they're having national security conversations at the highest level. Tom Cotton goes, and here's legislation that enforces it, that we have to give this information to Israel, and no one, including the president, can stop it unless we're under martial law or there's meteor falling out of the sky. Like ref, can someone like get this guy? Like, and no one's talking about it. And here he is, and he's been he's been through the roof. In the last couple of years, he gets promoted all the time as being one of these great politicians, these good congressmen. And it's like, bro, all I see when I see Tom Cotton is 2 signal ears from Mossad. That guy needs to be put in prison. At the bare minimum, he needs to be pulled from rank and file, and he needs to be sent out of Congress. That's insane. But the more insane part is, why is no one talking about it? Why? Like, it's just like, WTF, guys. Like, does no one see this conflict of interest? And the reality is, it happened in the same, it literally happened in the same, in the same week. It was like, here's the DIA increasing its designation. 2 days later, Tom Cotton was Section 227. No one bats an eye. Not at all. And that's, if anything, a sign of just how captured the system is. Just how literal, vertically integrated so much of this shit is, that it doesn't matter. And that's a good thing that Nick talks about all the time with the Ellisons and Barry Weiss and CBS and Sherry Redstone. Well, it's same thing with the biolabs and Ori Solomon. The prosecutor's Jewish, he's Jewish. The judge was Jewish. The guy who arrested him was Jewish. It was like, dude, there was no one else but Jews. Like, no wonder he's being sent back to Israel. He's getting all his charges dismissed. The guy was running a biolab with SARS and Newcastle disease. He had guns all over his apartment. That's fine. Chud the Builder says the N-word in public, $1 million bond. Bro, if white people don't start waking the fuck up, I mean, I know just white people, just people in general who don't want to be ruled by Jewish overlords, you have got to open your eyes, dude. You have got to be real about this. And that's why I'm a bit less willing to be, what's the word? Charitable anymore, because it's just, that's insane. How is that not headline news? A guy running a biolab just gets his charges dismissed and it's just gone out of the news cycle. What? The same way that so much of this is vertically integrated. Tom Cotton doesn't matter, dude. And that's the other thing too. That's another point. That guy's ears are huge, bro. Huge.
Atlas, keep your voice down. He can hear you.
That's what I'm saying, dude. He can hear me right now, bro. If I clapped loud enough, he'd be like, "Oh man, turn it down." Either way, though, jokes aside, he needs to be put in prison.
That they're putting in the secret.
It's Tom Cotton. Yeah.
In Washington D.C.
He was in the report. Yeah, he was mentioned in the report. But think about that. Our greatest ally, all this back and forth. The DIA is here's a report, guys. Yeah, they actually put listening. How are they not hostile enemies? They're putting listening devices in one of our top agencies that protects the president. They're crossing red lines. We already know all these countries spy and all that, but they're raising this because they're crossing lines. They're doing a bit more than what they have been, than what's kind of accepted inside the community. At the same time this is all going on, they're literally beating their chest with their 2 million people as they're driving the entire Iran war against a force they literally would get annihilated from if it wasn't for us. And then are threatening the entire ceasefire because they won't withdraw from Israel. It's or withdraw from Lebanon. How is it? What do I have to explain? That's kind of is this, we're testing the IQ of the American people. You need an explanation from me? Open your fucking eyes. See what is happening here. Well, it's okay, dude, do you want a country or not? You're going to have to fight for it at some point. And some point is coming up sooner than later.
And here's the thing. It's like we were saying, I don't remember if I said this to you in the green room. I think it was in the green room, but it's if you didn't laugh, you would cry.
Yeah.
It's cartoonish, the level of espionage and power that they have. Like everything you just said, getting acquitted for, like the one guy got basically let go by the FBI, even though they caught him being a pedophile, trying to woo like little girls.
Yep.
And then this guy's doing a bioweapons lab essentially, and then he gets acquitted. It's so over the top ridiculous. It's like, if you think about why Nick surged in popularity, it wasn't because he woke people up on the JQ.
Right.
It's because Jewish people woke people up on the JQ, and Nick had already said it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Right.
To me, it's like I'm waiting for Gollum to fall into Mount Doom, because it's like it's so evil. Like, because we know Christ wins in the end.
Right.
And it's like the more close that the Antichrist people grab us by the throats, it's like, you know, something's coming, dude. You know, I get, we can't have this mentality like, oh, everything works itself out in the end, so I don't have to do anything. You can't have that mentality. You do have to do something. You do have to be active. You have to be elite human capital. But it's like, dude, there's no way, dude. It's going to fall apart. And with how fast they're trying to seize power, I can't imagine it's not in our lifetimes.
You know, I think a lot of people would agree with you. I think a lot of people feel that way, with feeling like the writing is on the wall with the situation that we're in. And again, like, I mean, we were talking, there was kind of conversations about the Antichrist, you know, a couple of years ago, and probably even fewer if you go even further back than that. Nowadays, it feels like it's all of the time. It feels like it's always the center of topic of Tucker Carlson. He's being asked about it. He's being cross-examined by other reporters. Like, well, you did say Trump was, the Antichrist. No, I didn't. So you have all this, all the back and forth going on there. I think many people feel that way, which again, I think it goes hand in hand with the fact of why so many, mostly young men, are pursuing things like Roman Catholicism, Orthodoxy, getting back. People keep saying there's this general push for Christianity. There is, but it does seem to be it's more so centered between like this kind of push towards structured Christianity, which again is a bit more proof and a bit more sturdy and resistant to the subversion that's happening in Zionism, which again, got to check out Hyphenated Heresy by Joe Webben, and as well as J.D. Hall's work too. But I guess I wanted to move on from there. I wanted to react to some of this stuff while we're on the topic of Nick and just the Zionists as well. Did you see that Deborah Leah did a kind of 1-minute podcast style thing like Sneeko, but with making people read Nick Fuentes quotes?
No, I did not.
Yeah, so we're going to take a look at this. Actually, this is pretty... and again, Deborah Leah being one of the top 7K per post individuals on the interweb, if you will. Let me swing this over to the right wing. Let me clear some of these browsers too. Pull it up for you, but here it is. We're going to go ahead and react in real time to this. And yes, more Jewish women. This is what I do best, is making you guys listen to Jewish women on this channel.
I'm not saying that.
Jesus Christ.
Do you think that's a normal quote? No. Real quotes from the radical right. Let's see what people think.
Mom, Dad, Hitler was awesome. Hitler was right.
I don't know if I can say this.
I can't say that, sorry.
What?
Can I refuse to say it?
This was actually Nick Fuentes. Why won't you repeat it?
I can't believe anyone would even say that, like, in private.
Let me just be real for you 1 second. You have a girl sitting you down and saying like, okay, can you read this for me? Can I ask for permission to not say it? Like, I can't say what I want to say on YouTube, but Lord have mercy, dude. Here's what I would say, dude. I would warm my hands up, dude. And I would slap the absolute shit haircut off of this brother, dude. Get off of your knees, dude. Dude, for one, imagine asking a woman for permission for anything. But two, like, to say words out loud, like, oh no, they make, like, dude, it's crazy, dude. Absolutely crazy.
I was like, Mom, Dad, Hitler was awesome. Hitler was right.
It is sad that people actually do have that opinion.
They have a weird rule: if
you are Jewish, you can hide.
As a pedophile? Whoa.
A really crazy thing to say.
I don't agree with that.
I don't have words.
That is the normal reaction. Do you think it's true?
Obviously.
Nothing to agree with, though, right?
Candace Owens.
They have this weird rule that you can go if you're Jewish and hide as a pedophile.
Literally the craziest thing I ever heard. Of course, Israel does not protect pedophiles.
I can say for myself,
I dislike them more
than anybody.
So it was Tucker Carlson.
I dislike them more than
you think that's normal?
No, of course not.
I think that's completely unacceptable.
I can't say that.
Why not?
Jewish people were in control of the slave trade.
All of us need to wake up to this.
Just seems crazy.
I don't think this is factual.
Candace Owens said this on her podcast to millions of people.
Jewish people were in control of the slave trade. I think all of us need to wake up to this.
Throughout a lot of history, like up to like Rome and all that stuff, Jewish people were enslaved.
You know what's crazy about this is the fact that inside of this, they're just relying on the fact that the average person's just retarded. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they are relying on the fact that what you're getting from this is like people.
I think this is actually a tactical L on her part to even put that out there for people to like look into. You know what I mean? The best option would have been to say nothing.
Yeah, it just wow, bro. Like it's just like wow, this is like really bad. And she's like, yeah, it is really bad. I don't think this is factual. No, definitely not. And they just rely on it because that's the status. That's the status quo. That's the indoctrination. It's just like, it's a sad thing to see.
Of course, she's grabbing like Temu Jason Momoa to do these questions.
Right. Yeah, dude. Who is this guy? I don't even know what race that is, dude, to be honest with you.
Dude,
like it's
mystery meat to the max, dude.
It looks like white father, Samoan mother. And then he was raised in Colorado.
He's like the wooden hole. What do you call that?
Yeah. He's like, because he's got the wool jacket on. Like, I think they're in New York, you would imagine. She like lives around there, I think. She stays around that area for the most part.
No real evidence that Jewish people were in charge of the slave trade.
This is what happens when you're educated. That is so refreshing to hear. Would you agree that it's rather alarming that somebody specifically like a prominent black woman would not hold the proper people accountable for the slave trade?
Yeah.
I definitely do it.
Me too.
They must be absolutely annihilated.
When we take power.
I'm guessing it's some sort of dictator.
This kind of seems like an incitement of violence.
This is probably like Mussolini or Hitler or
You'd
somebody.
think.
I don't agree with any sort of annihilation.
It's actually about the Jews, said by Nick Fuentes again.
They must be absolutely annihilated when we take power.
Not a very normal thing to be thinking about.
I don't like anti-Semitism or any other hate towards any group.
Quotes like these have just become totally normalized, and you can expect to hear these on podcasts, on Twitter. Sensationalism of Hitler has really been from people like Nick Fuentes.
Pause it real quick.
Yeah.
I remember that exact quote. I was watching, I watched that show, I think like a rerun the day after. And I remember when he said that, I was like, ooh, Fed posting. Ooh, but like literally you can see in the clip, he goes, these people need to be annihilated. And he's like gearing up to say something else, which then they just cut. And he literally said, like, as he always does, he goes, and you know what I mean by that? We mean we need to remove them from power. I don't mean kill anybody. I'm just saying, like, the annihilation of their grip of this nation needs to be taken care of.
Yeah, well, it's like, I hate the whole preambling thing, too. Like, and no, this is not Emily Saves America. This is Deborah Leah. Deborah Leah is somehow worse, actually. But, I mean, it's like the same thing. It's like when you see... what was I thinking of? Fuck. Oh, like with sports games, dude. Where, you know, when sports teams like, we're going to go out there, we're going to destroy them. It's like, oh my gosh, you know, does everyone sit there and think like Tom Brady's going to whip out an Uzi and start laying down people on the field? Like, no, like it's clearly within the context. Same way as like when we take power, we're going to destroy them. It's the same thing. It's the same dynamic. And then, but it's they just automatically attach, like, it's got to be violence. That must be the only thing he must be talking about. And imagine such a reductive tag being applied to Nick when Nick goes so far out of the way to be very robust in his coverage, very like comprehensive in like how he talks and applies things. But again, you're spot on. Like, they're obviously going to clip everything out of context here.
Candace Owens.
No, it's not normal.
We are occupied and controlled by the Jews. I don't think your average Jewish person is trying to decide America's fate, no.
Thank you for being normal. This was actually said by Myron Gaines.
We are occupied and controlled by fucking Jews.
I don't think that they are controlling the world.
It's just complete denial of history and facts.
I think that people say crazy things on the internet, especially things that maybe they don't even believe.
And why do you think that they say it?
There's probably a profit motive.
Do you think these individuals, this radical right group, is bad for the country?
Yes.
Oh my God.
It's unacceptable to hate any group of people just for who they are.
I think it panders to the worst people in our society.
Our speech is powerful, and we can be using that to uplift and build this country up, or to dehumanize and to attack. Us Americans don't lead with hate in our heart like that. We believe in religious freedom and we believe in good values, and I think it's very dangerous that we've had people on the alt-right espousing these ideas. And
crazy that she's using the alt-right term again.
I was just thinking that. I was like,
no one
this year? What the hell?
Yeah, I did. Yeah. So this is what I saw. But some fish gripe here. Yeah, Zionist Deborah Liam set up a booth and asked people to read base quotes from Nick Fuente. That caption's much better. House of this it's not a rerun. It's called Good Morning Griper. It's funny. Yeah, this is just. I mean, and just think about where we are, though. Think about how that is reflective of like the Overton window too. Because why is she doing that? Why would she have to be coming out and running the cover for this? Well, it is because like these ideas are becoming more prominent. She's having to step up to the plate. Before, they would just ban you. Before, you would just get censored. Before, you would never see the light of day if you were even halfway getting close to proposing any of this, any kind of argument, even close to that. Now, because it's gotten much further along, it's gotten a lot more to the mainstream. Now we're running counter propaganda campaigns. Now we're doing all this back and forth that has to get stronger. So I think at the bare minimum, there's a positive where it looks like the culture has moved further to the right overall. But go ahead.
Yeah, and I was just thinking about this. What is actually the point of the video? Like, who is she trying to reach out to? Because I would imagine the concern would be that it's white people that are waking up to this. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So why is she going after all these mystery meat college students? I mean, I get it, like, because I would imagine the intent of this video, especially because she's a woman, is she's hoping for affirmation and catharsis of like validation that, oh no, we don't think that way. But like, why is she going to these like liberal people? You know what I mean? Wouldn't you want to try and go where the people are like normal to like average people? I don't know. It's just like, who is this? Who is this supposed to appeal to? Because if it's like there's Nazis, we're trying to make them not Nazis, you're going to go to some of the ugliest people I've ever seen.
Well, I mean, you just think about it. I mean, if you go back to the video here, let me pull it back up on screen. So she is a prominent Republican influencer, right? Do you think any of these people in this video are voting Republican? I mean, no.
Yeah.
Every single one of these people is like a Democrat voter. Maybe like this one weird white guy who's cucked, but like the majority of these people, these are all left. They all look left leaning. So it doesn't even look like this is in an attempt to be any kind of like political expedient element of it. It's more so it looks like this is just purely a just pro-Jewish motivated thing. It is just using one of your influencers. This is again they call it the 8-front war, right? This war on social media. And so I think that's really where Deborah Leah's loyalties are. It's not really to the Republican Party. It's to Israel. It's to Jews. That's who's paying her. That's why she's doing it. And I think that's really the only purpose of it, is to be another one of these voices, to be another person making content and pushing this against Nick. And again, I think it's to poison the well, because it wasn't just Nick. It was Tucker and Candace and Myron. So if anything, she's like sowing the brand of 4, which you would consider conservative pundits. Maybe Myron and Nick less so conservative, but at least Tucker and Candace would be seen that way. And so you go, what even is the purpose of this? I think again, it's just really to add more poison to the well, if you will. I think that's really it. I think it's as simple as that. I don't think it had any other motive beyond just using one of their their soldiers, if you will, one of their influencers that's in the pocket already. And I mean, and think about it too. She's the one that was like sitting there with Netanyahu, like going out to New York, meeting up with him, you know, and like leading the charge with him. It was like her, and there's another girl there too. Not Emily Saves Austin. Man, who's the other girl? I can't remember their names, but they all look so similar. You know, slight bit of hook, you know, to the nose.
I was gonna say, it seems like Jewish girls wear all their makeup the same way because she's got like, and I'm not even saying this to be funny, but like clownish contrast where the blush is like a red dot. You know what I mean? Like right on the cheekbones, it's like a dot.
Yeah.
And it's so caked on. I don't know.
I mean,
Rabbi Shmuley's daughter looks the same way. I mean, obviously they're Jewish. They have a similar phenotype, but like other than the nose, there's something about the eyes. You know what I mean? Even though they have blue eyes.
Yeah.
You ever seen blue eyes with no soul behind them? Yeah.
That's funny. I mean, no, I mean, I'm with you there. I mean, I can't stand any of it, to be honest with you. The majority of all the makeup I see it's just like, it's 8 layers thick. And it's what you said. It's like got this weird contrast. Half these girls, it's like their face is one shade, their neck is another. But yeah, the thing with the blush on the cheeks is like, who is that for? Maybe they just model themselves after other girls. Maybe they don't even care at all what men think. They're just trying to look like other females or something. I don't know. I mean, you step into the mind of a paid Jewish female influencer. That's like one place I don't want to be. Like, don't ask me to rationalize the behavior.
Well, yeah, and it's like she's kind of getting old now, but and you're a married man. I don't want to drag you into this, but Haley Steinfeld, Jewish, but she's like kind of an attractive mid. You know, she's like an attainable mid.
What's she in?
Haley's. Fuck. The only thing I could think of is when she was a kid. Ender's Game. I don't know. She was in Sinners. I don't know if you saw that.
Sinners.
She was the white woman in Sinners, or Jewish woman in Sinners.
Oh, that's the one with Michael B. Jordan. And I'm not watching that.
Yeah, it was shit. I don't know. Like, anyways, my point being is
sometimes
like,
maybe good, sometimes maybe shit.
Sometimes it may be shit. If anyone's watching, they know she's like a good-looking person in the movie she's in because she does not have caked on makeup. They want her to look like a person. Then you see her on the red carpet and she looks like a black girl. Like Ariana Grande, another example where it's like,
we're gonna have to do it. Dude, she is disgusting.
But it's like, it's all women. She looks like white Candace Owens in that picture.
Yeah, that's a crazy photo. Oh, that's crazy, actually.
Yeah, look at that.
That one looks very Candace Owens-esque for some reason.
Like, yeah, she looks like a black girl, but if you find her in like God dang, what's that movie with her and Woody Harrelson I'm thinking of? She might be underage in that, but I mean, we're groypers here.
This one?
Yeah.
The Edge of 17?
Yeah.
Will you be watching these movies unironically?
No, I've seen the clips though.
This is a crazy self-report, dude. We're live. Did you know that?
Hey, a timer, okay?
That's funny. That's funny.
Oh man.
Let me go back one. Yeah, I mean, you're right? Like, what did you say? Above average mid, I guess. I mean, this is the photo. This is probably a good one to look at here. Like, what is going on here, dude?
Like, yeah, what are you doing?
Where's that button at? Open image in new tab.
Looks insane.
What is this, bro?
Yo.
Like the cheeks.
Yo.
And you see, there's the Jew back there.
Yeah, I was just gonna say. I was like,
bro, that is the gayest way to hold a camera I've ever seen in my life.
Dude, look at the wrist. Look at bro, the
he's like,
of his head. Yeah.
They take a photo. He's got the fat double chin too, dude. That's crazy. That's basically COLLAB, he says. That's funny. But like,
oh my goodness.
But like, looking here, it's like there's something wrong with her cheeks, dude. Like, that's not normal.
And
you know what I mean?
Look good.
Or it's like, at the bare minimum, it's like the makeup on her face. It's like making her cheeks look like bigger than what they should be. You know, like, to me, it has a look of like a surgeon literally added bone on her cheeks to make them like stand out more. You know, like on the cheekbone.
It's like, go into your settings, unlock Photoshop in your mind, change the hair out for nappy and darken the complexion. Who is that?
Yeah, dude. Dude, what if we did that with Grok? How close to Candace Owens is this woman's facial stretching?
Yeah.
But it wasn't this one. It was, you're right. Is that one? I mean, this one for sure. I don't know. I'm going to go back one. What was that photo? It was this one.
Yeah. Like that, dude. For me, because it's really small on my screen and kind of blurry, bro, yo, that's Candace Owens.
She stores the snacks in there. It's like a dude, just a hamster. But look at this. You can tell when the lights are bright. I can see it all, dude.
Yeah.
Look at all the makeup. I can see the difference in layering here. It's like unequally applied. Looks like he's literally tweaking out with this one eye, bro. You know, it's like that to me is just like, this is gross. Yeah, is it cake or a woman? All right, someone get the knife.
Yeah.
That's funny.
So true. And like, there's so much makeup, it makes her eyes look sunken. She's starting to look like JD Vance too.
Nah, that's true. I mean, she's certainly getting a double chin there too, man. That's like the JD Vance, like, hallmark is having the fat double chin. You know what I mean? But I mean, this is real, dude. It's like, yeah, if any woman's watching, please take it from us. Like, the more makeup, the worse that you look, wholeheartedly. Well, I guess in some cases, you know, context depending, but for the most part, like, this is gross to me. I don't want to be around women that are like this. I don't want your face to touch my shirt when you're like this either. You know what I mean? Have you been around this? Like, I've had these experiences before where like women like get close to you and like I come home and like they turn the light on for the first time, and it's like, I'm like, what do I got? Why is this? What's all over me? You know, like what the hell is this? Because it's like, this is gross, dude. And dude, not nitpicking and not beautiful, by the way. Raise your standards, Tyrone. Yeah, dude, super weird. Or maybe you like her because she looks like Candace Owens. That's funny.
I'm telling you, if you get the right like picture, maybe we just went through this. I won't have you do it again, but like Daisy Edgar Jones, because she's like a cute actual white girl, but like you see her on the red carpet, and it's like,
how do you know all these people?
I like movies, and
okay, fair. That is fair.
She's in a movie called Where the Crawdads Sing, which is actually good. That's a real good movie.
I've heard of that movie before. I'm not a movie guy. I'm just not.
Yeah.
Like for me, it's like it needs to. Like if I'm seeing women on camera, it needs to be. No, just kidding. Just kidding. No, but if I see women on camera, I'm probably turning it off. Like, let's be real. Like for me, it's like I can only watch men. Like, where are the men?
Atlas says, if I see a woman on camera, it needs to be a rerun. It needs to be the practice tapes. You know?
Yeah. Well, I think we had this conversation before, dude. Like, I can't watch reruns either, dude. It just makes me like, I get anxious watching reruns.
I don't think you got the joke.
No, I know. I got the joke. I was just making a point beyond that. Okay, no, okay. I did. That's funny. But while we're on movies, Citizen Vigilante. Tell me about it.
Okay, so like I said, I've been kind of unplugged even more than usual lately, and I was talking with Jack Kinoflex.
Word.
And he suggested this movie to me, and I was like, oh, okay. And I watched the trailer, and I was like, how little do you think of me, Jack? This movie looks like garbage. This is like total white rage goy slop. Mm-hmm. So what it is...
Well, who made it, by the way? Do you know?
Huh?
Who made it? Like, who produced it?
Okay, I don't know who produced it, but I know the director is some German guy who just makes these like kind of generic straight to Netflix action movies.
Word.
And
okay.
The main actor is actually a dude who got canceled during like Me Too for I don't know, being awkward on dates or something. But basically what it is it's white boomer catharsis, you know? So like there was a movie a couple years ago with Bruce Willis called Death Wish, where his wife gets murdered, his daughter gets raped, and he becomes like a vigilante. And it's like, I'm gonna take care of all these problems, but then all the villains are white people, you know? This is one where it's exactly that, but there's a scene where
didn't I tell you to
it's Muslims.
Yeah, I'm just having playing in the background.
This is.
So the reason I'm playing this is because Elon Musk literally posted it directly himself on the platform, the entire movie.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but it's produced by Uwe Boll.
We Ball.
We Ball. Mr. Mott says Uwe's the best worst director. Interesting.
Yeah, it's like you ever see what's it called? Law Abiding Citizen. You ever see the movie Atlas?
Yeah, I love it.
Right. It's like it's a good movie, but it is like catharsis. You know, it's cathartic for like people that have a problem with the justice system. But, you know, of course, it's like black lawyer, white criminal. This one is the first one that kind of goes with that formula, but it's white hero, brown villain. And so actually in the prep, if you want to pull it up, I found a clip from it on X, I think. It's labeled poo poo.
Yeah. Is this the one scene that's been going around? Yeah.
Yes.
You need to play this?
It's not the full thing. It's kind of, I couldn't find a full one, but it's cut, so it should be fine.
Word, okay.
The values you're teaching your children?
I teach him the values from Quran.
Okay, pause real quick. I'm sorry. Context, a Muslim like teenager raped a girl, a 14-year-old girl, and he went to her in the hospital and asked if she wanted justice, and she through tears said yes. So he's tracked this rapist to his Muslim immigrant family home.
Interesting.
Here we are.
Okay. Yeah, our family.
Well, if these are your values, that women in America and Europe deserve to be raped because of a dress code, why did you come here?
You know that we have several war in our country and we have a dangerous life. That's why we are here.
I don't think it was the good ones that got out of your country. I think it was the bad ones. And I think you brought with you your archaic value system and your commitment to religion over democracy and over anything else, including the rule of law. No funny business, or I shoot Mom. Go.
Okay.
What the fuck happened? What's wrong?
Hello. Go in.
So I did see this scene. I saw, well, not this one, but I saw that conversational scene, the longer one, like the 2 or 3 minute clip of it.
Right.
And the one takeaway I had from it was the fact that it's like, it literally is just reinforcing feminism. Like, it was just like, the thing that they were mad about from the Muslims was that, like, they're making about like the dress code. They weren't talking about like the racialized element of it. Like, it's sure it kind of was speaking to that, but in that clip alone, it was like, oh, you raped her because you have this thing against the Western dress code. What? No, he raped her because he's a low IQ, like subhuman ape thing. Like, that's why he did it. Like, it's not. That's not like and that to me was just like, it really kind of soured it on me, because I was thinking about maybe watching it, but I'm like, I'm not. The one thing I think I actually agree with Islam on is women need to wear clothes. I think that is the only thing I agree with them on. So it's like in this moment in that clip, I'm like, it's not cathartic for me anymore. There's nothing cathartic there at all. But the other one was a scene of like, it was like a kid getting beaten up. He's like getting, it's like a young white kid was getting beaten up by another white kid, it looked like, and a black guy. And the dude shows up, he stops it, and then he breaks all their arms and legs. Like, I saw like that version of the clip, and I'm like, I don't really even know what this is about, to be honest, because it also included the white kid in there too. So I don't know. I guess it maybe was it's going somewhere, but not all the way, I guess is probably the best way I could say that.
And I hadn't seen the movie myself either. I don't honestly plan to, but
you have to now.
No, I watched a little bit of what Anthony Cumia had to say about it, and what he said is it sucks because it's a power fantasy movie. Like, the whole movie is him kicking ass. He literally never gets a scratch on him. It's just him winning at all costs. He's getting laid. He's like James Bond, but he kills brown people. You know, it's so like boilerplate crap. And the only thing it does,
Goy slop poo poo, you said.
it's goy slop poo poo. That's exactly what it is. And what is the only effect this is going to have on people is, if in any meaningful way, is like maybe a couple liberal people will see this and they'll get activated. Like, look at what they think of the Browns. But ultimately it'll be forgotten.
Well, I'm pretty sure you're going viral again, by the way. I actually put this in the notes here too. Craig sent this to me on X, actually. Thank you for the reminder, brother. Let me see if this will work. I'm going to click on it. It's from Uncensored America. It's a different angle of you, actually, at the same event. So I don't know when this was posted or not. Go to the post. I don't know if there's any way I can tell, actually, when this was posted or not. But either way, let me pull it up for you guys to see.
Oh no, that's the same one.
Is it the same one?
Yeah,
it's the same one from the original. Interesting. Yeah, maybe Craig was just seeing it for the first time. But what I wanted to bring to people's attention is, look how much weight Josh has lost, dude. Look at that. Look at that change.
Let's go.
Yeah, mewing, right? Let's go. Never mewing. Like, that's a huge W. But yeah, this is, for those who don't know, this is why we call him Undercover Jew. This was Josh infiltrating into Charlie Kirk's event.
Undercover Goy.
Undercover Goy. No, this is your Myron appearance. Forgive me. This is your Myron appearance. This was after, right? It was directly after.
Yes, this was like a few weeks after that.
Interesting.
So Myron, you are directly responsible for spreading anti-Semitic rhetoric online. You constantly put down the Jewish people, but very rarely do you recognize the accomplishments that they have brought to society. They've been extremely influential in promoting homosexual rights, in unlocking women's potential by liberating them from their oppressive male counterparts. They are directly responsible for the central banking system and the economy that we have today. During the bubonic plague,
it's so good.
They were extremely influential in spreading awareness of it, and they did it quite well. So my question to you, Myron, is where would you be today without us?
I didn't know. Smelly says in this video, you look like the white fish from SpongeBob.
The flounder. Oh, Smelly. Hey, we hate smelly balls. We hate smelly balls. I renounce you, Smelly.
That's like the greatest thing I've ever read on stream.
Like Big Mouth Bass or whatever. Dude. Have a triple patty deluxe.
Hold on, dude. Hold on. Wide fish from SpongeBob, dude. Hold on, dude. We gotta see it, dude. No.
Come on.
No. Isn't it the flounder, though?
SpongeBob. Yeah, do flounder from SpongeBob. What the?
Dude, hold on.
What is this, Twitter? What kind of goofy
bro.
search engine are you on?
Yeah, this guy.
Damn, Atlas.
But it's so
laugh like that,
bro. But it's so real, dog. Let's go back. Hold on. Look at this, dude. Can I go back on Instagram?
It's a good question.
Well, I hope it shows you again.
I have a lot more money.
I just hope it shows you again.
I'd probably be in Sudan because they destroyed Sudan. No, I'm just kidding.
Aloha, Myra.
Bro, you are a triangle, dude. Bro, you are a triangle. Like, that is the body shape, dude. Oh, triangle.
The sail on a ship.
If you were spray painted orange, you could do a commercial for Nacho Doritos. Nacho cheese Dorito. Like, that's how triangle you are right here, dude.
You fucker. I'm committing. Atlas is Albanian. He confessed it to me.
I did. It's in my back pocket. It's my back pocket excuse, dude, if anything happened. That's funny, dude. That actually hurt my head how hard I laughed just now. I gave it a bit of neck pain, actually, to be real with you.
It's like I'll be honest though, I can't even be mad. That was a good comparison, you know what I mean?
Right. But that's the old you. Now we're looks max.
The new me.
Yeah. Now Josh is fully prepared to woo the judge when he inevitably goes to trial for anti-Semitism.
Right. Now I just look like Jared Kushner.
Yeah, now you are.
I aspire to be regular Jared Kushner.
Josh Kushner. And then I became Josh Kushner.
Hell yeah, dude.
That's funny.
I love you too, Smelly. All is forgiven.
He said I've been hyping you up weekly, Josh. That's hilarious. That's funny. That was brutal, dude. That was brutal from Smelly, dude. That's out of the park. A dinger, dude. Dinger.
He's getting back to me for the weekend comments because he's a 1-to-1.
You know what I've been saying? You would get this because you're the one of the few people who've seen him. I said he looks like he looks like Basil, but he's fit. Like if Basil lost weight from the Benny and Basil show.
I don't know who Basil is, but I know of him, but I don't know what he looks like.
Damn, dude.
Pull up a image if you can.
If you have to do this too. Okay, let's go. He just posted something not too long ago. Let me put it on screen. Right, oh, perfect. Right here. That's Basil. See if I can find a better one.
Oh yeah.
Like that's literally that's Smelly, dude. But here's what I said. He looks like a fit Basil.
Yeah.
I'm not attacking Basil either. I'm just saying that's what Silly Balls look like.
I see it for sure. For sure. If Basil loses weight, you may as well be doxxed, Smelly. Be careful.
Right. That's funny. But no, to move on to another subject here. We have a clip. Unofficial Groiper report alert. Oh, really? Did they delete the post? Let me try this then.
Oh no. Is it the preacher thing?
No, I do want to do the preacher one. I don't know who deleted the clip. Oh, here we go. This is another one from Asuka though. It's the same thing. This is Nick on the future of warfare being subterranean. And I think there's a lot in here that you could really kind of expand upon. That I did have to say, but yeah, we can also do the base pastor as well. But here's this.
Marble Snake sent $20. Hey Nick, love the show. What do you think of if white people make whites-only communities in international waters like Waterworld?
People talked about that. It's called seasteading. They talk about like a floating city in international waters. Create your own laws. The problem is you need land. You need land to develop. So I don't think that's really feasible in the long term. Plus, anybody could just like blow it up with drones. You know? In the era of drones, the future is subterranean. In the era, here's another little prediction for you. In the future of drone-based warfare, or in a world of that, the future is subterranean. The future is under the ground. You're not going to need just ground, but the area under the ground. That's how you're going to be safe from drones. That's how you're going to be safe, guys. That's the only way we're going to be safe from drones. We have to all go underground. So, yeah, it's not going to work. If you create some seasteading boat, dude, South Africa will mount a navy and they'll just blow it up with drones and missiles. You know, who's that guy, Julius Malemi or whatever? They'll just like mount some anti-white pirate campaign and kill us all. So no, you need territory.
So the point there, really, when I was thinking about this as well, was like just going into like to the Iran war. Not only when that like when you think about it in terms of like in any of these sense of like, you know, whoever's pushing for revolution against the American government, it's like then you'd have that to go against, right? Which is like you're going to just get annihilated by drones. Like that's the next stage. But very specific though on the Iran war context, which is Iran basically has beaten the United States or has held off the United States because of that fact, because of the fact that they have built so much of their military infrastructure underground, and not just underground, but so far underground that even our bunker buster that Israel had to beg us essentially to use did minimal damage, or at least to the effect that we don't even know what damage it caused because it wasn't enough. So 2 things I would say to that. One is, I think if Arval and all these people who are building these communities or want to build these kind of outset communities, they should probably have that in mind. If that's where the future is going, that should also be something I would imagine would need to be roped in, much like these kind of these doomsday bunkers. But in the context of the Iran war, do we expect that other nations were like also like not paying attention to this? It's like I'm sure they probably saw this tactic and were like, we don't have any subterranean infrastructure. And what it effectively has done is like that was the trump card that Iran had on the escalation ladder of American air superiority. America may dominate the air, but if your people and your structures aren't anywhere that the air can touch, it means nothing. There's the trump card. And so I do think like, you know, he's kind of like halfway joking in response to this, but I think that's actually like, that's a real fact. I think there probably is and going to be other nations, other countries, and perhaps maybe just entities in general that see that and will be like, yeah, if we want the best bet in case, you know, everything, shit hits the fan, we got to start building stuff underground. And perhaps that is, you know, obviously I'm with the tinfoil hat on here. Is this maybe not the canary in the coal mine, but the casus belli for many other people to follow suit? Is this the first domino to fall? They saw how Iran did it. Like it's kind of major, like upset, like Iran holds off the United States because of this. That's like the primary factor of this. Would you not expect to see other nations follow suit and begin to be building underground? Even if it was just in an attempt of taking away from some of the elements that America could invoke against them?
I'm not going to lie, dude. I kind of F with that. I have Aryan blue eyes. I don't go outside even when it's overcast without sunglasses. So I'm in my element as a mole man. You know what I mean? If we're living in the tunnels, bro, I've seen the pictures of the Iranian cities. The only problem is the fluorescent lights. If we can get to warm lighting and it just looks like a dungeon.
Make it
If
comfortable.
we just go to torches, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Dude, I'll be sleeping upside down like this, like a bat, I love it.
I think it's honestly, we're probably going to see more into that. I get what Tixbaumer is saying. But even with that though, the reason why they've won is because of their staying inside this escalation ladder. So I guess to me, it'd be like, at the bare minimum, it would be like an extra deterrent. It's like, so we have proxy groups, we have air defense systems, and we also have underground subterranean military infrastructure. So like at the bare minimum, it does provide an extra kind of outer ring or another ring of defense. And also I appreciate that, Greg. Thank you, brother. So I do get what you're saying. I think ultimately like nuclear warfare, nuclear fallout, that trumps it. I mean, they pile bomb nuclear weapons on you. It's like, now you're stuck underground. It's like, you don't want to leave. You don't want the radiation to come outside. Same thing with chemical warfare. They could flood the tunnels with some kind of disease or some kind of insane, nerve gas, things like that. It would, it's over there too. But it does, to me, at least in the most basic sense, it's like employing another channel of warfare, another channel of deterrent. And that's something I hadn't been thinking about. But again, this is one of the definitional things of the Iran war, of why it has been so impossible for us to do anything. Even though the United States does have air superiority, it's like, it doesn't even matter if your missiles can't get there, which forces the U.S. to then have to look at ground invasion or upping it to nuclear warfare, which I don't even think they would. I don't think they would entertain nuclear warfare, but again, these people are insane. But the next step up is ground invasion. But overall, all of that comes with these major elements, which is most political entities, most people, most states don't want to go and wage war, at least not in the form of ground invasion, where they're sending by the thousands of their own son and daughters overseas to go fight a war. So like that is why I'm looking at it as a major deterrent element, but also applying it in other areas too, where it is like, if your thought process is you want to build some kind of long-standing society that is impervious to the tyranny of the government, well, I think that you should also be thinking about this too. Would this not be another deterrent? Especially if Iran's enemy was the United States government, you too, if you're Arval, are you not also building in defense of who? Defense of the United States, government, and I think inside of that, I think it was it's pretty curious because I didn't catch this part on the show actually when I watched it live, but I caught it on a clip and I was like, it's something I've never thought about before. Very interesting to me.
Well, I was just thinking also about how it worked for the Vietnamese.
Yeah.
And someone in the chat said, "Send in the rats." I like that.
Yeah. Send in the bubonic plague, the rat, the disease-riddled rats. I mean, there's plenty of ways you could probably, compete with it. But in the sense of that, I mean, like we're thousands and thousands of miles away. So for us to even touch them in like first strike, first strike tactics, it's going to be coming from the air. It's going to be coming from missiles, from bombs. But if that's a major deterrent against that, well, then it forces us to have to go to the next line down. And what's the next line down from air superiority? Well, you would go to it's ground invasion, and you could do ground invasion with vehicles. But again, the vehicles then are also faced with the same deterrent of, can you get your remote controlled vehicles inside the tunnels? Can you maneuver your drones? And then even on top of that, it'll be a bit of back and forth because I'm sure the people who are building underground will find more ways, more innovations to bolster those underground defenses against things like vehicular warfare. So then it keeps boiling down to well, if you want to really get in them tunnels, you're going to have to physically send people into those tunnels or wipe the surface clean with nuclear warfare. And so because the cost becomes so great in those elements, I think it serves as a major, major deterrent that will probably protect you a lot more than others will. Certainly more than Hezbollah, right? Certainly more than ISIS, certainly more than any other kind of proxy group or militia group, anything like that. That to me, it just stood out to me because I enjoy these kind of strategy things and thinking about how they could be applied.
You remember a few years ago, there's a Chris Pratt Jurassic Park movie, and they wanted to train the velociraptors to be like dogs. Yeah, like how the police have trained dogs. They wanted velociraptor dogs. Yeah. We'll use science to bring back the dinosaurs, to put them in the caves, bro. That's what we'll do. We'll just send the velociraptors after them.
That would be crazy,
dude.
Genetically modified dinos.
The more we speculate about where this war is going, the more I'm actually down.
Yeah, I see
no downside.
Let's just blow it open. It's just blow the top down, blow the top off. But no, I wanted to move on to this one. It's probably one of the last thing we kind of touch on. There's going to be the I laid hands on the sick story, which is literally insane, but also pretty base too. Let me bring this up. There's two tweets I want to go over here. We'll go to the first one here. Let me pull it up for you guys so you can see this. This is from Colin Rugg. So the story goes that a Louisiana pastor beat up a man who allegedly threatened to rape and kill his wife and grandchildren. And instead of sparing you reading this entire thing, I already read through the gist of the story. Basically, what you have here, and I'll go ahead and play the video while I'm talking. What you have in this video is this pastor who ends up coming across the street to fight this kid. Apparently, he had basically been getting penalized repeatedly and had been under the eye and under the ire of the local police department, as well as his neighbors, because he refused to close his doors of his church during COVID. And so he basically had been getting politically targeted for a hot minute since then. And while we're seeing this footage, and the reason why it's so crystal clear, if we go back here at the beginning, it's so widespread, is because this surveillance footage is actually coming from that neighbor's home. And it was because the police actually developed a relationship with this neighbor to get all this footage on him and his church. So what you have is this neighbor and the police are they're buddy-buddy because they're helping each other constantly target this guy who runs this church across the street. So eventually you get to this point where this guy he ends up getting tired of having to deal with this person. I mean, he eventually makes these threats, and this was the result of that. He beats him. And the quote afterwards is actually wild. Literally wild. So he basically
curious what spurred this incident specifically.
Yeah, so here we go up here to this, right? So he's his name is Tony Spell. He's a pastor of Life Tabernacle Church. So it says he was working on a church bus when the neighbor's son started shouting at him. Spell said that it's his job as the protector to protect his church and family. He said, Tony, I'm going to rape your wife. I'm going to rape all your grandchildren. And he said, the next time you go out of town, I'm going to kill them. And what the F are you going to do about it? Spell said. The neighbors, the Sherwin family, claim Spell is not telling the truth. But during a press conference, Spell was backed by members of his church who say they've made multiple complaints about the Sherwin family to police. Spell's attorney says that Sherwin family, the neighbor, has a large industrial scale camera that could see from across the street all the way into the pulpit. Spell has been hit with multiple misdemeanor summons in 2020 during COVID lockdowns and refused to close the church. The Central City Police are friends with these folks across the street. When Pastor Spell was being surveilled 24/7, it was with the help of the man across the street. Now, here's the article that came out the day later that was boosted by Robbie Starbuck. This is what it says. After he was done beating the absolute brakes off the guy who allegedly threatened to rape his wife and grandkids, Pastor Spell told the church, I fulfilled scripture. I laid hands on the sick. And like,
let's go.
That is like, holy crap, dude. That is one of the craziest, most base things I've ever heard of. Like, wild, dude. I mean, he says, no, I'm not joking. That's one hell of a line. It's all this is true. Hero. Pastor Spell says neighbor threatened his faith, flock, and family. I fulfilled the scripture. I laid hands on the sick. So that to me, like, I'm not even kidding you. I read through that story numerous times and was finding a bit more details out about it. I don't know. How do you react? I mean, the guy's literally threatening to do all of that when you're like, you know, you're going to leave and all of that. I don't know. And again, it's not like it was a one-time instance, right? It's not like the neighbor yelled across the street and this guy like just irrationally reacted. That's why I kind of gave a bit of the preamble. There's a history there. And the history is that neighbor, I believe the son is who he fought, but that family, again, had been aiding the police with surveilling him and his church from basically since 2020 to penalize him on any kind of minor mistake or anything. And so like that guy, I mean, like that guy basically took justice into his own hands that day. I will be curious to, if more than likely will get charged for assault. I'm going to imagine that the pastor will get charged and more than likely will get criminally charged or tried.
That's why, like, dude, we live in total anarcho tyranny hell. And it's like, what he did was just, you know what I mean? Like he did not violate Christian law by beating the shit out of that guy. Jesus whipped people for trading money in the temple. Okay. Right. A guy threatens to rape your wife and grandchildren. That was the least of it, dude. And what he should have done is he should have called me, and I would have worked out a what did the guy call me?
Would have negotiated
super villain plan? No. The poor villain plan. You know how to deal with. We're casting spells. We're getting rid of the spell. Oh wait, he's Spell. Is this the pastor's name was Spell?
Yeah, his name was Tony Spell.
Oh.
Yeah.
Damn it. That would have.
It was the neighbors are called. They're just called. It's the Sherwin family. So whoever that group of neighbors is, and I believe it said that was the son of the Sherwin family, one of the sons. Yeah, I mean, you're completely correct. They're like, again, so much of our modern sensibilities and being indoctrinated and brainwashed by like just how the modern kind of social system operates just blinds you from like. Imagine like you just think to like Red Dead. I know how liberal and everybody said it's all. Regardless, it's like think about how the Wild West was in the 1800s. Can you imagine what would happen to you? Imagine the difference in time. In the 1800s, you walk up to a grown man and you tell him exactly what this kid's said to this pastor. I mean, you'd be lucky if you left the property. So.
Right.
200 years later, people are like, well, maybe you shouldn't have. It's like, dude, I don't care. Then you're spot on. Jesus not only flipped tables, he whipped people for turning the church into basically a bit of a marketplace. Or what it was a marketplace and they were exchanging money, right? They were doing the currency swapping. Was that what it was? I think it was like specific to the fact that they were like currency swapping and they were making percentage money off of that too. There was also the marketplace element. Either way. It's like, yeah. And if anything, it's kind of wild that he did kind of hold himself back by not really beating on the complete brakes in on that kid. At the end of the video, I didn't want to share it, but he does yank the kid's neck up and it looks like he decides against it. He like, let's go, and he just starts walking away, dude. He's like, you know what? I've done enough. he got the message.
Dude, he should have. What do they call it? Like wet willy, like
Dude, that'd be
crazy. In his ear.
Yeah, on the way out, let me get a big wet willy, put it into your ear side. That's funny.
Yeah, dude, he should have whispered in his ears like, "You do that, I'm gonna rape you." And
true though.
Hey, it's not one and done, man. You're a basement baby from now on.
Right.
Oh my god, dude! I just came up with that.
You're coming home with me.
Yeah.
You're not leaving.
You're my neighbor? No. Wait. You think I'm your neighbor? No. You're my neighbor.
Yeah. No, he's like, no. What's it's the Rorschach line? You think you live across the street from me? No, I live across the street from you, dude.
Yeah.
That would be funny.
Hell yeah, dude.
Turning the table there. But before we go to super chats, I was going to ask any other story or anything you want to bring up?
No, not at the moment.
All good.
So, not like a news story, but like some of you guys know that like I'm working on this business now. Y'all got to pray for me, dude, because it's the industry that I'm trying to break into to service. Yeah. The decision makers, they're all ladies.
Ooh. That's a big oof, dude. Oof.
Yeah.
So you're quitting then?
You gotta help me. I'm having to flirt. That's what I'm having to do. I'm having to smooth talk these.
That's why you told me that. That's been your way out.
Yeah. That's how I'm getting these contracts, man.
You're leading on like 3.5 different affairs to ensure your business will operate.
Exactly, dude. Exactly.
That's funny. Coinips was asking, is Josh breaking into the rap industry?
No.
Oh, you might have gotten confused by the thumbnail. The cushion.
What? Yeah. That's true. I was gonna say, I'm not white. I'm Jewish. I'm not.
What a banger song,
dude! I hadn't heard that before. That was a banger. That was an absolute banger.
Me either, dude. I think I've started every kick stream with that song since. Actually, like it's just such a good song, dude. I just can't stand how they dance so well too. That actually makes me mad. But yeah, no. Let me go ahead and I'm gonna go pull up some of the super chats. I think we only had 2. Let me grab them though. I don't think I can make the YouTube ones replay for some reason, which is just super weird. This first one came from Mr. Moss, came right at the beginning. I'll go ahead and play this. Actually, let me turn it on. But here it is.
You don't seem to understand. Earth isn't yours to conquer.
I didn't read it the first time.
Moss sent $5. Josh is training to eat Larry Loomer. He is on a holy mission.
Yeah, Josh is training to eat Larry Loomer. He's on a holy mission. You're gearing up. That's why you're losing all the weight, so you can go back. You can go back to right back to square one when you're done.
Yeah, I'm making room for him. That's what.
That's funny.
Is so that I misread it when it came up the first time. I thought it said Laurel Loomer.
No, Larry. Yeah, Laura's the figment of our imaginations.
If Laurel Loomer, if I ate her, you ever see Anaconda? I know you probably haven't, but like,
no, I've seen it.
You have seen Anaconda? Yeah. You know when it eats Owen Wilson and he's in his stomach and you can see his face like pressing through the stomach. That would like if Laura Loomer, if I ate her, she could cut her way out with her chin or something, you know?
That is so true, dude. Like having a razor edge of a jaw.
Yeah, like, yeah. She just has to come at it from the side.
Or just her nose.
That would
hurt, dude. That would hurt. It'd be like having a dagger just come through you from coming, just out through you. Yeah. Like, dude.
We might have to break them up before consumption.
Yeah, right.
I will not be using the snake method where I unhinge my jaw and swallow them whole. It will have to be piece by piece.
That's hilarious. The other one is from YouTube. I can't replay it for some reason, but it is from Smelling Balls, and he says, seeing Josh made me cancel my Cialis prescription.
Damn.
That's crazy. Just keep a picture of Josh on you at all times.
Come back. Let's go.
That's funny. But that is that'll be the end of. Right, dude. Miss Belly's been on a streak here lately, dude. He's been punching. He's been throwing his weight around, if you will. But that does bring us to the end of the show for today. You want to say thank you everybody for being here. Make sure you definitely smash a like button if you have not already. It does help the show tremendously. And this has been the third collab in our week of collabs. This first week of collabs, collab season 2. And tomorrow we'll be having on Beardson Beardley. He'll be on the show tomorrow to be at 6 p.m. Eastern. And I do believe I would imagine he's going to also be streaming it on his side on Kick as well, too. But I'm going to be going over to Kick for probably just a little bit, actually. Probably not going to be there for very long, but I will be going to Kick directly after this. But again, thank you, Josh, for coming on the show. It's been great, as always. We do have a great report on Saturday that's going to be at 8 p.m. Eastern, too. And I guess, yeah, anything else you want to say? Your links are in the description below for both your YouTube and your X account.
Yeah, dude. I had a good time. I'll be here for Groper Report. I appreciate you having me on, and I'm looking forward to the next time, man.
Yeah, I appreciate it, brother. Thanks for being here. And yes, everybody, Christ is King, as always. And since we cannot do deportations, we'll settle for impeachments. We need to rehire Dan Bongino, impeach his bald ass and everybody else in that administration. And for all the women over 150 pounds, this is your not notice. This is just me directly telling you we're shooting you from a cannon to Israel immediately, no questions asked. And for all the women between 125 and 150 pounds, this is your 90-day notice to lose the weight, or you too be shot from a cannon to Israel. Until next time, guys, I'll see you tomorrow, 6 p.m. Eastern, with Beardson Beardley on the YouTube side. But if those who want to follow the show, I'll be going on Kick directly after this. Just give me a few minutes to set it up. I'll see you guys there. Take care, and thanks again, Josh. We'll see you on Saturday.
Get up and get out. Get out. Get out.
I have a question for you.
Say Christ is Lord. Say Christ is Lord. Say it. You say Christ is Lord. Get out. Get out. Christ is